Hello there, Servum17 once again. This is my Bayonetta Hard Pure Platinum run. This is Chapter 13, Cardinal Virtue of Prudence. This is Sapientia, and he's probably the easiest Cardinal to beat. But you have to know what he does. If you don't know what he does, he can obviously be quite tricky. So he has 4 cherubim-like faces on his joints where his knees should be. You have to smash those. The boss will fire rockets at you that you can get witch time off, they'll fire lasers, and then every so often he'll do this where he tries to jump into the water and land on you, or he'll go under the water and try and chomp you. All of the moves can be evaded with clever use of the evade button. I haven't really stressed how good the evade on this game is, but when you go back to things like Devil May Cry, and I'm playing a game called Anarchy Reigns right now, which is a platinum title that I avoided because I thought it looked like a piece of shit, and all the reviews said it was a multiplayer game, and the problem with my internet is it doesn't really let me do multiplayer, so if I get really competitive at a game, all it does is frustrate me and sadden me, and you know, what's the point in getting your hopes up if you're just going to get them crushed by lag? Because, you know, nobody can fight lag, not even Japanese players. So I never went near it, and the reviews weren't very favourable. They all said it was kind of averagey and stuff, and I saw it for £4, and I love Platinum, so I thought, you know, why not? I've played Mad World, it was a fun game, and maybe this is something like Mad World, and the game is definitely its own thing. And it's not bad at all, I'm actually having a lot of fun with it. It's really hard, for some bad reasons, but if I ever cover anything on the channel, I'll probably speak more about it. But the evade on that game is so delayed compared to this game, it's night and day differences. And I've been playing Devil May Cry currently, and there's times on that game where I press A to jump, but I don't press it hard enough, and the character doesn't jump and I take a hit. And I'm not blaming the game, I'm not blaming the pad, it's just a different type of input system. And compared to Bayonetta, where everything is immediate, responsive and amazing, it just makes me sad. Because I feel like I'm being ruined by how much I love this game and how much, you know, we're just synchronized for some reason. It's like a synergy that I have with it. And I can't wait for Bayonetta 2, but I'm probably never going to be able to play it because Wii U's are still £250, which is £150 more than I would ever pay for a Wii U. That's a lot of money, man. But a little bit of trivia here. The person who did the sound designer, I think it was the sound design or some of the music design, it was a company, I think in Los Angeles or something like that. Completely killing this. This is me paraphrasing and, you know, misquoting it. But it's the same person who did the sound design for Devil May Cry, and when he saw that creature, that infernal beast, it reminded him of Phantom, and it was like a big nostalgia trip for the guy, and I think stuff like that's really cool. Which obviously, if you didn't realise, that spider is a massive reference to Phantom. Hideki Kamiya is very referential to his old series. Like, I've been playing Anarchy Reigns for an hour and I've already seen a reference to a line that gets said several times in Platinum games, which, even though this is not a Kamiya title, it's still Platinum, and, you know, they still wear the influences on their sleeve, which is something I've always admired. But the thing I do on this is as soon as the splash happens, that's when I hold evade, and I dodge it almost every time. This one, when he stays down longer than the other times, it means he's going to land and let you hit him, so that's when you want to be more aggressive. I don't know if he can land on you, because if he did, it would do massive damage and fail the rank, so we don't want to see. But once again, Durga on your hands, electric Durga to build the combo. All you have to do is mash Y and focus on avoiding attacks. It makes the bosses incredibly simple. Watch out for the bite. The bite is one of those where the avoidance time on it's slightly different. It's a little bit like the bite that the Fearless and Fairnesses do. Another thing to bear in mind, the closer he is to death, sometimes he can do more animations. You can get lucky with the dive. Sometimes he doesn't do it as much, other times he does. If you watch speedrunners play this game, they will tell you all about the cycles of the boss animations and whether or not you're getting a good cycle or a bad one. Unfortunately, all the speedruns involve using the killgore glitch, which I personally don't really think is a glitch. It's just everybody looks down on it, so a potentially really cool speedrun will probably get, you know, diminished and diminutized by people saying, oh, he used a glitch to do it, which, with all the nuanced and interesting facets of this combat system, do you really think they missed that? I don't. Same with Devil May Cry 4. A lot of people seem to think that the distorted techniques is a glitch as well. I think it's intentional. I think it was probably noticed and they kept it in to add that extra piece of, you know, dynamic. Admittedly, is distorted real impacts too powerful? Yes. Is that a bad thing? No. I love me some real impacts. Especially on that game, because playing as Dante on Devil May Cry 4 is really tricky, because that game feels almost designed for Nero. And there's a part of me that wishes you never played as Dante. But I'm going to talk about that more in my DMC4 thing. But here is the final sequence. This is a really cool and interesting one, but the frame rate is dog shit on this part. Every single time you mess with Sapientia, the frame rate is questionable. Cool thing to note here, if you do Tetsuzankos and heel stomps, as long as you're locked on to the boss, you can hit him off screen like I did just then. So when you surf down here and you get to him to attack, whenever he moves out of the range of your standard attacks, start hitting him with Tetsuzankos. It's a very quick way of killing this boss. You can get witch time off the lasers, you can get witch time off the missiles. I just wasn't as fortunate enough to get them. So here comes the combo. Watch out for the stomps, watch out for the bites. You can get witch time off the bites, I believe, if you do it correctly. Watch out for the missiles as well. He fires those red fireballs that almost every boss seems to have. There was the bat within, there's the witch time. And I believe after this he's going to raise his head away from me like this, and then Tetsuzanko, that's a fucked up Tetsuzanko, it's a second fucked up Tetsuzanko. There's a heel stomp, there's a Tetsuzanko, and there's a climax. So a lot of people ask me on Devil May Cry 4 how I do caliber and moves that involve pressing back forward on the analog. If you play this game, it's the exact same way you do the Tetsuzanko and the heel stomps. The only time you mess up is when you can't see what direction your character's facing. I literally have no idea why anybody would struggle to do those moves. Maybe your pad is crap or something, I don't know, but it seems pretty simple. Press away from the way you're facing, press towards the way you're facing, and then press attack. I've never had an issue with it. But that's the end of Sapientia, or however you say his name. Mr. Prudence, I call him. Prudy. For some reason they don't eat his head, which is a blessing, I guess. And I've seen on some of the Bayonetta footage that the Lumen Sage that you fight, the Masked Sage, he has the ability to summon the virtues, like Bayonetta summons the Infernal Demons, which I think is kind of interesting. So you're going to fight Temperance again, and probably Fortitudo, and maybe good old Prudence here. But that's the end. Thank you very much for watching, and you take care now.